Do you know what keeps us from being happy? As per the quote by author and motivational speaker Jim Rohn, it is our negative beliefs and thoughts that hold us back. In his book, The 5 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness, he describes how these mental barriers can impact our financial success and well-being. So today, we are going to discuss the 5 strategies for wealth and happiness as described by Jim Rohn. In order to break through these mental barriers, strategy number 1 is take full responsibility. One of the most important things we learn in life is to blame others for our shortcomings. It's easier to point fingers at someone else than to admit we made a mistake. This tendency to blame others can be a major obstacle to our success. When we take responsibility for our actions, we are able to learn from them and improve. But when we blame others, we are only hurting ourselves. We have to accept that we are responsible for our own actions and their consequences. Only then can we begin to make positive changes in our lives. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from it and make better choices in the future. Blaming others will not solve any problems. It will only keep us stuck in the same place. So if we want to be successful, we need to take responsibility for our own lives. Jim Rohn says, stop blaming others for your mistakes. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? Once you have a clear understanding of your strengths and weaknesses, you can start to develop a plan to achieve your goals. Jim Rohn says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So instead of setting vague goals like, I want to be rich, set specific, measurable goals like I want to save 10% of my income every month, or I want to invest in real estate. By setting specific goals, you will be able to track your progress and see how far you have come. And this will motivate you to keep going even when things get tough. Strategy number 3, master your emotions. Our emotions can have a powerful influence over our decisions. When we are feeling negative emotions like anger, sadness, or fear, we are more likely to make impulsive decisions that we will later regret. On the other hand, when we are feeling positive emotions like happiness, excitement, or optimism, we are more likely to feel confident and in control. As Jim Rohn said, take charge of your emotional life. Your feelings are in your hands. So how can we use this to our advantage? First, we need to become aware of how our emotions are affecting our decisions. We all experience a wide range of emotions, and it's important to find healthy ways to express them. Second, we need to develop skills to manage our emotions. This includes learning how to calm ourselves down when we're feeling angry or anxious, as well as how to savor positive emotions when they arise. By developing these skills, we will be better able to make rational decisions that align with our values and goals. Remember, our emotions are powerful, but they don't have to control us. If we take the time to understand and manage our emotions, we can use them to our advantage and live happier, more fulfilling lives. Number 4 is keep a positive attitude. A positive attitude is essential to success because it helps us overcome challenges, bounce back from setbacks, and achieve our goals. When we have a positive attitude, we are more likely to see the good in people and situations. We are also more likely to believe in ourselves and our ability to succeed. As Jim Rohn once said, if you look for the bad, you find the bad. That is why it is so important to cultivate a positive attitude. There are several ways we can keep a positive attitude. One is to focus on the good things in our lives. Gratitude is an effective way to do this. When we take the time to appreciate the good things in our lives, we set a positive tone for each day. Another way to keep a positive attitude is to surround ourselves with positive people. The people we spend time with can have a big impact on our attitudes. If we want to keep a positive attitude, we should avoid negative naysayers and instead spend time with people who are optimistic and upbeat. Additionally, we can adopt positive self-talk. Instead of constantly criticizing ourselves, we should learn to be our own best friend. Positive self-talk can help us stay motivated and focused on our goals, even when things get tough. Keeping a positive attitude is not always easy, but it is essential to success. By following these tips, we can train ourselves to think positively and set the stage for a happier, more fulfilling life. And strategy number 5. Follow the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, states that roughly 80% of the effects comes from 20% of the causes. In other words, a small number of factors often account for a large number of results. For example, according to the Pareto principle, 20% of customers usually account for 80% of sales, or 20% of the land usually has 80% of the forests in it. Now, how can we apply the Pareto principle to our lives? First, we need to identify the 20% of our efforts that are producing 80% of the results. Once we have identified these high leverage activities, we need to focus our attention on them. This means cutting out or delegating the low leverage activities so that we can free up our time and energy for the high leverage ones. The Pareto principle can be a powerful tool for increasing our productivity and effectiveness. By focusing on the 20% of our efforts that produce the most results, we can make the most of our time and resources. Of course, this doesn't mean that we should neglect the other 80% of our efforts, but we should be willing to cut back on them if necessary in order to focus on the most important things. Remember, as Jim Rohn said, you can't be everything to everybody, and that's where strategy number 5 comes in, identifying the 20% of your efforts that will bring you 80% of the results, and focusing on those efforts. So friends, these are the 5 strategies for wealth and happiness as described by Jim Rohn. Take full responsibility for your actions. Set clear and measurable goals. Master your emotions. Keep a positive attitude. Follow the Pareto principle. Remember, you are the one who ultimately controls your destiny. By following these strategies, you will be well on your way to achieving your dreams. So go out there and make it happen. And before we wrap up today's video, I have a question for you. What strategy do you think will help you the most in your journey towards wealth and happiness? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our videos. Stay tuned for more personal growth content. And remember, you can do it. Believe in yourself. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.